We go. All right, we are live. All right, all right. Everybody doing? Everybody doing in there here? How everybody doing in here? It's your boy King Gabe here. Ooh, boy, y'all in for quite a live today. Um, Today as well as also Wednesday and Thursday, or the usual Bible reading on Wednesday. But yeah, y'all are definitely in for it. Cause like I say, we're not on vacation this week, and since I'm let's say since it's pretty much what no warnness from the day job and then we're gonna so for tonight's stream we're gonna be going through this whole book 8, and spoiler alert, it ends on a cliffhanger, which continues into book number 9. That's what we're gonna be at Thursday. So, but today we're gonna be in here, book number 8, the prophesized outcast of destruction. It's pretty dark when you hear that said. You see the image on here. Um, yep, it's an innocent being that is not of our likeness will come along with a great evil. If it isn't stopped, Atlantis could be doomed for destruction. No one knows the meaning of this prophecy. However, it's up to Bubblelina and her Atlantean friends to find out the meaning of it in order to prevent the Great War from happening. They will they be able to succeed? We'll find out what happens. And as it'll be continuing, and we already know in the next book there. You might have got a glimpse of the title when I showed you the picture there, so you never know. Uh, but yeah, you see right here. Now, if you're wondering, okay, so what kind of mythical we've heard about the mermaids that were mentioned. I think in the same book that like book 4 that Bubblelina was introduced in this universe. We know mermaids are out there. We've had mentions of things like the fairies and of fairies. Later, it was mentions of dragons and other mythical creatures. So, so this right here, this is kind of go into the book just a little bit before we start reading it. Um, the creature that's on the cover is what's known as a sky Atlantean. The so the mer people, mermaids and the mermen, those are the ocean Atlanteans. But this but but the one on the cover I just showed you is a sky Atlantean, and they're half human, half lion with eagle wings, called Shadows and Lamas. I think that's how you pronounce it, Shadows and Lamas. And if wondering what that, and if you're still kind of wondering what that is, um, these were I actually looked these up when I made okay. Yeah, I actually made these actually look these I looked these up, I'm sorry. When I was making the story. Let's see, Shadows and La. Hold on, let me look at that term again. There, about to give you out some mythical education right here. Lamas. Yeah. Okay, so these Mesopotamian mythology, they're often used interchange. Okay, normally they usually they either have lion or bull head. So you got some that are part bull and have wings. They are known the Shadows are the male protective spirit, while the Lamas is the female protective spirit. So the one on the cover would be a Lamas, and the male would be the Shadow. Both are powerful guardian figures placed at entrances to ward off evil. And if I'm not mistaken, when I was looking this up before making the book years a while back when I first made these books, um, they it was mentioned that there's a statue of these creatures in Aladdin. So that's pretty interesting to know. However, before using those creatures, at first the Sky Atlanteans were going that I was going to use for the Sky Atlanteans was actually going to be harpies. Y'all remember any of y'all who ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh? Remember Harpy Lady? You know that my summon, or you know the harpies in the Odyssey. Well, the only thing was that I could not find what the male harpy was. And reading, I was even looking at it because they had there's a card called Harpy's Bro, but I never, I don't know why they sent me the same message three times on here. Okay. Say, a second. Okay. All right. So, yeah, just telling them, yeah, click the link. Maybe. Follow that. Okay. Anyway. Um. So anyway. At first, yeah, like I say, at first there was going to be harpies used as the Sky Atlanteans, and yeah, like I said, I couldn't find the male counter, what the name of the male counterpart was, which kind of led me to believe it sort of seemed like sort of like the whole Amazons thing, you know, like like Wonder Woman and the Amazon, they're all female, and they have to, you know, come to, you know, mate with us mortal men, yeah, in order to reproduce and stuff. So yeah, sort of like that kind of thing going, at least as far as I could tell. So I kind of wanted to, yeah, I was like, I think I might want to use something else, and that's where I discovered the Shadows and Lamasas. So that's how we end up getting this right here, the Lamos. so we're gonna go into, and as I read through this, gonna be revealing to y'all what um what could have been with the harpy idea, which also came from I guess you say like a dark what actually was going to be in the, remember I mentioned before, there was actually going to be a darker Heroes of Dream before I even came out with the first book, and I was trying to get together like what direction I was even going with the series to begin with, and what, you know, what, how the different story, how different, what stories would be told and which way it would go. It was going to take a darker turn, which there are some turns in this series as well. This is going to be one of them, besides just the color. So, but I mean, like, but even darker than what I have here. So, yeah, almost like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero dark, if that make any sense there. Um, so as I go, but I'm gonna go through this first because if I start telling you what would have went into that darker series and possibly this series right now, will kind of spoil some things before going into the book. So yeah, yep, you got the full picture of her right there. The Lamas right here that's going to be featured in this book. Also, this came out in 2014, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yep, 2014 for book 9. Since this was a two-parter, it was immediately done after this book. So yeah, of course the usual, my usual proofreaders and editors, my mom, and of course my mom, Diane Douglas Taylor, and my lovely wife. Isn't she beautiful? And also, as an added bonus. Oh, I forgot to show this picture too. Yep. As an added bonus, remember we read last time we was reading book number 7 of Heroes of Dream, and I mentioned to y'all about Riley Jones, who that's the name he used in the book for his civilian name to be portrayed as the superhero Dashtail in Wild Recruit last time. Well, he's back, obviously, because he is a member of the Dream League now. And at that time when this book was written, his last name got changed to Wingrove, but he still went by Jones in the book for now. Uh, I was going to work a way to where his character would take on the same last name there, as well as his sister, Chloe Wingrove. There, see his sister next to him and everything. Now, despite the height, they are the same age there. Just the difference in the height is all. But she was introducing the book along with him, but there's going to be a major role for her coming up in this book, this and also book 9, leading on into the series prior. So now, let's see this picture of here. Chapter 1, The Great War of Atlantis. Sort of, in a way, sort of kind of reminds me of the war that Christina mentioned in her version of both the Bubblelina comic and the novel that she's currently working, that she's actually is being proofread right now. Yep, which hopefully we kind of get that out next month there. Well, finish proofing anyway. Atlantis is a magical place inhabited by its citizens, the Atlanteans. When it first came into existence, it was only within the seas. The Atlanteans were half human and half fish. They were called mermen and mermaids. There were also other sea creatures that dwelt with the people as well. The Atlanteans were able to hide Atlantis using their magical powers that also protected it from intruders, sort of like the Wakandas protecting Wakanda. And ironic, Atlantis was in the second Black Panther movie. That's all your mermaids and mermen there. And yeah, I noticed you probably wondered, like, why do y'all got, shirts and stuff like that on? I didn't remember that in the Little Mermaid there. Triton was just going around showing off his pecs and stuff there. But yeah, that was just something at that time. Um, I'm not completely sure what my reason was for doing that, but yeah. So when Christina took over Bubblelina for her universe, she made them more traditional, but in the illustrations, added a little something to them, not regular human clothing, but actually arranged these scales like you see on their tails, like you see on their mer tails. The scales were it sort of where the scales appear to be like clothing, but it's actually just part of their skin there. So yeah, it was pretty kind of a little clever there. You got the sea creatures and everything, crab, dolphins, smiley starfish, and fishies, and what jellyfish, and yeah, seahorses. Under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better. Don't worry, it's weather. Take it from me. And after a few years later, another Atlantis came into existence within the sky. The Atlanteans there were half human and half lion with eagle wings, called Shadows and the Musses. So I just went basically all of them being half lion, even though, like I say, what I just read, you got some of them that are half lion, half bull. Now, I'm not sure if I was planning to put any of the bull ones in there, but yeah, I probably was just sticking with the lion because, yeah, I sort of thought about, with the female, that if you got a half bull one, then that means The female Lamases would be, though of the female equivalent would be part cow. Yeah, I'll let you figure out. I'll let you draw the line on that one, though. Yeah, so I just basically stuck with the lions there. So, um, both both of the groups of Atlanteans lived alongside each other in peace, alongside with the human world, and even offered their help and protection when needed. However, there came a day where that peace was greatly disturbed, and a battle known as the Great War of Atlantis began. The sky, the sea Atlanteans and the sky Atlanteans battled each other for months. It sort of reminds me of in DC Comics the war between the Atlanteans and the Amazons, kind of. And in Marvel, we got the Atlanteans and the Wakandans there. So Atlanteans be having quite a bit of. They seem like they always have a war with something, in no matter what universe they're in. There, say the sea Atlanteans and the sky Atlanteans battled for months, which seemed like years. The war seemed to show no sign of ending until two young princes, a Shadu and a Merboy, took a stand together in the midst of the senseless fighting and demanded for the war to end immediately. Everyone was moved by the courageous stance they took, and it was then that the war ended. Their peace was once again restored. Then, years later, the young Shadu married a Lamus, and the Merboy married a mermaid, they thus being a merman now since he's marrying someone. After that, they became kings of the two groups, but it wasn't long until another threat arose. The Sky Atlanteans, along with their king and queen, mysteriously vanished without a trace. Until this day, no one knows what happened to the Sky Atlanteans. Got a bit of a mystery to solve here. So you see all the Sky Atlanteans and well clothes there. Uh, okay. So and the silhouette of the two forces battling each other. Oh boy. And boy, that air in here is starting to feel like a winter. Not completely a winter wonderland, but I guess because I'm sitting right here under this fan. Give me just a second, again. I'm gonna turn for right now. I'm just gonna turn this fan off. Yeah, I know they circulate the air, but I'm right under it. I think. Okay. All right, that should kind of make it kind of still keeping it cool, but I don't want to overdo it in here though. That's a lot better. All right, chapter 2, Halloween and fall break plans. Because yeah, around this time I found out about fall break. We didn't have fall break when I was coming up in school. The closest thing we had, which we still do, we just had Thanksgiving week, and then the Christmas and New Year's. But see, now there's this thing called fall break that occurs somewhere in October. I mean, seems cool to get some extra days out from school, but yeah, this is kind of starting to see why summer vacation is even shorter than what it is now. So yeah, maybe you might want to maybe trim off that fall break, guys, because you already got the Thanksgiving week, and just extend the summer. June, Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's what we need. That big summer break. Only things we need as far as holidays during the school year, or like I said, Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving week, Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King Day. That's fine. Gotta give some respect to him. I have a dream. Martin Luther King Day, um, President's Day, I guess. Funny we don't get Valentine's Day out, but they do stuff in school for that anyway. So, yeah. But President's Day, okay. spring, and then of course spring break, Easter, and I think that's pretty much it. Spring break and Easter, and sometimes Easter be the Sunday right. Sometimes Easter and spring break be the same week. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need as far as off days during the school year, and pretty much be the biggest one from Memorial Day to Labor Day, big summer break. As they say in Phineas and Ferb, there's 104 days of summer vacation, and school comes along just to end it. So the annual problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like babies. Yep. So anyway, let's get on into this there. Okay, so Halloween and fall break plan, chapter 2. At Shreve City Elementary School, the Halloween celebration had begun. All the students, along with the school faculty and staff, came dressed up in different kinds of costumes. Both to all the teachers and the students there. That morning after breakfast, the kids went to their classes to show off their costumes and participate in games and activities. They also took pictures to be entered in a contest for best costume. After that, there was a big party and a school carnival outside on the playground. During the carnival, Melody came to Julie and Zoe giggling, and she handed each of them an envelope. Samuel and Calvin passed by at the same time and seeked a little closer to eavesdrop. Before before you open them, you have to guess what's inside, said Melody. Are they tickets to the little miracle concert this week? Asked Zoe. Pretty much their little Romeo. Not quite, said Melody. Is it the is it a Halloween party you're having? Asked Julie. Well, you're half right, said Melody. Are we gonna watch the little miracle concert on TV at the party? Asked Zoe. Well, Zoe really want to see this little miracle guy. Maybe, but there's still more to it than that, said Melody. Is there gonna be another costume contest? Asked Julie. I hadn't thought of it, but I might think of doing that, said Melody. Just as Zoe was about to make another guess, Riley passed by Samuel and Calvin. He stopped to listen as Zoe said, "The Melody, is Little Miracle going to perform at the party in person?" It's the third time you guessed Little Miracle, Zoe. And there's, of course, some of the random teachers and students in their costumes there. Pretty good little costumes and everything. And of course, Julie's Julie, Zoe. You got Julie over here. I think she's supposed to be dressed as a detective. Sort of a reference to how Casey, is into shows like Monk and Doctor Who. Got Zoe. I think she's supposed to be. Trying to think. I see she got a flower printed dress. I think she's supposed to be like. I can't quite put my finger on it. I want to say maybe maybe like a flower princess, something like that there. And then of course you got Melody over here. Even and ironic, and she's actually the Princess Bubblelina in the sky, but she dresses like a maid there for the Halloween contest. And then of course you got Samuel here dressed as a cop, and Calvin back here dressed as a firefighter there. And Riley's about to show up on this next page. And just got them busted there. Oh boy. Let's see. What has he got in here? He got a Zoe Social Kingdom page, pretty much like Facebook. A printout of it. Her shrine to Little Miracle. Boys. Well, you didn't see it. You didn't see a thing. You didn't see a thing. Also, you notice Riley's wearing some Lego piece costume. Um, Ironic. I think when I first started talking to Riley, he had when I first started talking to Riley, his Facebook page back first time I had ever like me on Facebook, he wore this costume on his profile picture. Yep, Lego costume there from 2012 there, and yep, and I was trying to let's see. Now, of course, I know we showed the picture of him and his sister in the book. Um, let's see, it's right here. This right here is what he this is what he looks like right now, fully grown and everything there. And and of course, let's take a picture here. It's another oh right here. Another picture of him with his mom in the middle and his sister on the other side there, all grown up and everything there. Yep, yep. Before Melody could answer, Riley laughed and said, "Zoe, you're such a fangirl." Everyone gasped and looked at him as he continued. I mean, she practically has an online shrine of him attached to a social kingdom page. Samuel quickly covered Riley's mouth and said, "Sorry about him, girls. We'll just go over. We'll just go over to the dart throwing boot while Calvin looks some more for his quarters he lost around here." Really? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right," said Calvin with a nervous laugh. "I'll see if I can find them, but don't let me stop your conversation. It'll be as if I'm not even here." The girls saw through their little charade and started pushing the boys away very quickly. They said, "Nice try, boys. But this conversation and event is for girls only." "Event?" said the boys. "She said girls only," said Zoe. "Oh man," said the boys. Like, "well, why can't we come, Eggs Riley?" "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, come on, girls." Like, I could provide you with free entertainment for your event if you let us," said Calvin. Like, "Yeah, and if there's an event in Atlantis, I'm sure your friends would love to see the great Mantamex," said Samuel. "Atlantis? As in a place filled with pretty mermaids?" said Riley. "Count me in." Like, Samuel and I can be Calvin's assistants. Not like, "Not this time, guys," said Melody. But I might consider that for another occasion." The girls stopped in front of the dart throwing booth with the boys and zipped back to their previous spot. "Now, what's the surprise?" asked Zoe. "They are invitations to my annual Halloween party and sleepover," exclaimed Melody. Like, "Wow, that's cool," said Zoe. "Well, where's it going to be at?" asked Julie. Like, "And is Little Miracle going to perform in person?" Well, considering you're Atlantis, I'm not sure about that, Zoe. "It's going to be at my castle in Atlantis," said Melody. "Sounds great," said Julie. "Yeah, really," said Zoe. Then she paused a minute and said, "Oh, and I guess that means Little Miracle won't perform there in person." "Don't worry, Zoe," said Melody. "We can still see the concert on TV down there." "You mean that, Melody?" said Zoe. "Indeed," said Melody. Just then, Julie's parents, Yoshi and Judy, showed up. Hey, the girls turned to them as they approached. Konnichiwa, said Yoshi. Huh? asked Zoe. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa means hello in Japanese. Right, Julie? said Melody. Yep. Oh, that's right, said Zoe. I forgot about that. It's okay, said Yoshi. I see you're I see you're pretty knowledgeable with other languages, said Judy. Let's let's just say I've been learning a lot from hanging around Julie, said Melody. I can tell, said Yoshi. Kind of reminds me of one of my bud. I could kind of reminds me of one of my buddies, Jarrett, from Canada, back at Dragon Hill High. Wasn't for him, I wouldn't have passed my history class. And you told me, and I think you told, and to think you told me at prom night that you were the history expert, said Judy. I guess I forgot to mention that with all the excitement going on, said Yoshi. And I was trying to be cool back then. my dad always gotta be my dad always gotta be cool, said Julie with a grin. Got that right, said Judy. Everyone laughed a little. Then Yoshi said, well, anyway, Julie, I know this is a little sudden, but your mom and I have to attend our country's Culture Day event along with your grandpa Koshi and some of our family members this weekend. This weekend? asked Julie. That's right, you say Yoshi, which means we have to get home quickly so and be ready to go in a couple of hours. I see, said Julie. Then she said to Melody and Zoe, I guess I won't be able to come to the party and sleep over tonight. It's okay, Julie, said Melody. We'll just plan another one especially for you next weekend when you come back. But, okay, thanks, Melody, said Julie. Meanwhile, Samuel, Calvin, and Riley were sitting with Bruno and Brian enjoying some down home smoked salted dogs and pondering about what the girls' party plans might be. Suddenly, the principal, Mr. Brickwood, kind. I think I thought of that. I got that name from one of Sharon Creech's books, Brickway, Mr. Brickway from Walk Two Moons. So here I said Mr. Brickwood arrived, setting two large pumpkin-shaped buckets on the table. He picked up a bullhorn to make an announcement, which I did not draw the bullhorn in here. Yeah. And he's dressed like Elvis. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Brickway here. Let me have y'all attention here. Everybody, all settle down now. Attention to all teachers and students, he said. It's time to announce the winners for the best costume contest. One teacher and one student from each grade will be declared as the winners of the contest. And the winners will draw a prize from the pumpkin-shaped buckets on the table. So here's our winners. The kindergarten winners are Miss Mayfield and Clinton Sanders. Just like the first grade winners are Mr. Robertson and Betty Daniels. And as you can, so these are the kindergarten winners. They're like a bunny and what looks like something similar to Mega Man a little bit, but with wings. Um, I think this teacher is supposed to be dressed. Let's see, let me make sure because I think I might have someone. Okay, so I think not sure what this teacher is supposed to be dressed as there, but the student looks like something similar to Pikachu, which is actually what's called a dream critter, kind of their version of Pokemon there, called a Genitar. We'll get more of that in a later story. And good. The second grade winners are Mrs. Mitchell and Terry Patterson. Third grade winners are Miss Fillmore and Brian Robinson. So, got the second grade winners just like the student just like a train, and ironically, the teacher is just like a conductor. And you got Brian here, just like Albert Einstein, next to his teacher, just like Black Widow. Interesting choice. Well, this book did come out 2 years after the Avengers movie. Okay, yep. Fourth grade winners. The fourth grade winners are Mr. Collins and Jennifer Chow. And the fifth grade winners are Mr. Ling and Leslie Hayes. And this is an interesting choice of costume here. You got what looks like a ladybug and the mighty Thor. For score! Even got the hammer. Here comes the hammer. And got this kind of like Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. My, what big teeth you have. Okay. Everyone applauded as the winners went up to draw for prizes from the bucket. As soon as Brian got his prize, he ran to Samuel, Calvin, Riley, and Bruno, waving an envelope in his hand with great excitement. You guys will never guess what I won, said Brian, now holding the envelope behind his back. What? Asked the other boys. You gotta guess, said Brian. Oh, not again, said the boys. What's the problem? Said Brian. Dude, you're sounding like Melody from earlier with you're sounding like Melody earlier with the other girls, said Calvin. Then he imitated Melody. You have to guess. You have to guess what's inside. Oh my lord, really? So I'm using Yugi's voice for Calvin when I read his lines. Now just picture in your mind Yugi imitating a girl from his class. Like, you have to guess what's inside. If you don't mind, buddy, could you just tell us, said Samuel. Brian sighed and said, Okay. I want tickets to the Hero Convention in New Orleans this weekend. There's one for each of us. Brian showed the boys the tickets. Cool, said Riley. It'll be like a weekend of Halloween of us in costumes. Well, not just that, but the convention will allow people to get free gameplay of the new virtual reality game Hero Quest before it arrives at the store, said Brian. Are you serious? Asked Bruno. Indeed. So, you guys in? We're in, said the boys. And that's the ticket to HeroCon. And pay close attention to that ticket. That's going to be real important in a very big Heroes of Dream event coming up. Mm-hmm. Sort of a bit of a foreshadowing. All right. As you can see, we're in chapter 3, and Zoe and Bubblelina about to go to the sleepover there through the magic portal. Atlantis portal opening. Atlantis portal open, and Euro's got it open for them there. Bubblelina and Zoe. Oh, let me get me some water here. Bubblelina and Zoe arrived at the lake near the Hero Tree that evening around 5:30 to be transported to Atlantis. Ready, Hero? Asked Bubblelina on her hero watch. All set. Prepare yourselves for an awesome sleepover, guys. Just then, the light glowed from the lake, and Bubblelina and Zoe jumped inside. instantly they were teleported into the magical place called Atlantis. Standing in front of the castle, and say, Bubblelina changed her legs to a mermaid tail, and Zoe was amazed at the sights that she saw. It's like I'm in a fairy tale, said Zoe. I always wondered if places like this existed. And Zoe paused, noticing she was maintaining perfect balance on the ground beneath her and was able to breathe as if she was on land, even though she was underwater. So apparently, the Atlantis in this universe it runs on SpongeBob logic. Like, the water's completely breathable here. The water in Atlantis is different from that of the surface world, said Bubblelina. This is so awesome, Bubbles, said Zoe. Huh, wait till you see the inside of the castle, said Bubblelina. So apparently when you go in Atlantis, it's different from the real world oceans there. So yeah, even though it's still a water world, it functions a lot differently there, at least in this universe anyway. On that note, the girls went inside and were greeted by Bubblelina's parents, Aquarius and Oshira, and her Atlantean friends. So, got Bubblelina's parents, of course. I know they were shown in book 4. The Aquarius and Oshira. And these are some of Bubblelina's friends, Crystal, Gina, Alicia, and Holly, which you might possibly notice some similarities to some of the characters from Christina's Bubblelina universe. The name Alicia was used or should I say, in Christina's version, Bubblelina's civilian name is Melissa. Melissa's rival and person she couldn't stand was Alicia. Um, However, as you can see, Holly right here sort of has a slight resemblance to uh, Nicole from the Bubblelina series, just a little bit there. Uh, and there is now I'm not completely sure if there's. I'm pretty sure there might be a different name used, but there is going to be a girl similar to Gina in the Bubblelina series at some point there. One of the mermaids, but yeah, but it should probably be under a different name. But you'll find out when she writes it there. Yeah. And now, once everybody was settled in, Aquarius and Oshira left for a weekend royal retreat, leaving the girls in the care of Bubblelina's personal bodyguard, Norgana. Before the party started, Bubblelina gave Zoe a tour of the castle. During the tour, the other girls wondered about Zoe, and they started to have a flashback of when they were on their way to the castle for the sleepover. Listen, young ladies, said a voice. The girls stopped and saw a wise elder merman nearby. Are you, are you talking to us? Said Crystal. Yes, yes, I am, said the elder. I have a prophecy that you must hear. An innocent being that is not of our likeness will come along with a great evil. If it isn't stopped, Atlantis could be doomed for destruction. An innocent being, said Gina. What do you mean by that, sir? Asked Alicia. And yeah, I know first thing came to Christina's mind because of the way he was dressed, and I kind of see it. It's almost like a merman version of Moses. The person I had in mind as far as how he talks is Morgan Freeman. So I guess if Morgan Freeman played a merman Moses, then and of course the silhouette of the prophecy here. But what does it mean? The meaning will become clear when the power of the sun awakens to shine its light on the forces of darkness, said the elder. It's the light right there. So this is the answer to what's about to happen. What forces? What forces of darkness? Asked Holly. Could you explain what you're talking about, sir? Asked Crystal. I have explained enough, said the elder. You must find out the rest on your own. Then the flashback ended and the girls started to discuss amongst themselves. The elders hmm, the elders said an innocent being is not of our likeness, said Holly. I'm guessing he means like a human being. Well, Zoe is Zoe is human, but she does seem innocent, said Alicia. I guess that means her, but does that mean she'll be a threat to Atlantis? But Bubblelina said that Zoe was one of Bubblelina said that Zoe is one of her friends from the surface world, said Gina. New friend, said Crystal, which means Bubbles may not be aware of the kind of trouble she might be. Crystal, maybe there's someone else the elder was referring to, said Gina. I I'm afraid I'm afraid Crystal has a point, Gina, said Holly. Sometimes when prophecies are told, it's not long before they happen. She's right, said Alicia, and it seems like this one is beginning. I still think we should reconsider our assumptions, girl, said Gina. I just don't want to jump to any conclusions without proper proof. Oh, we'll get proof, said Crystal. Just stay on alert and keep your eyes on her. Moments later, after Bubblelina finished touring Zoe around the castle, she said, All right, girls, before we begin our sleepover, why don't we allow our guest to tell us about herself? Yes, yes, being from the surface world, you must have a lot of interesting and exciting things about yourself, said Holly nervously. Zoe said, Well, I'm from Bethany, Louisiana. However, my mom and her friends opened up a hair and nail salon in Bossier. They caused us to move here to Shreveport along with my brother Riley. Your mom? Whoa, your mom has a hair and nail salons? Asked Alicia. What's it called? Unity Divine. Maybe you could show us some of the hairstyles in the shop, said Gina. Well, I'm still practicing that. Say, but I could try a little bit that I do. A little bit I know. Does Bethany have evil forces? Asked Crystal. None of which I know, said Zoe, unless you consider one of my neighbors from a few years back. Say Riley and I, along with our friends back in Bethany, would call him the Grouch King. Every time he had company at his house, you would hear them arguing, and he never really spoke, and he didn't really speak much to anyone else there outside of that. The Did this Grouch King have some dark powers? Asked Crystal. Zoe laughed as if, I seriously doubt it. But if he does, I'm pretty sure he'd be no match for Bubblelina in the Dream League. Well, she's got a point, said Gina. And this is what so Zoe's talking with the other girls there, and that's the Grouch King there. I have a feeling that he's probably like some of the characters from Home Alone that, they'd be like, oh, don't go near this person. There's something dangerous about this person. Then it turns out they're not, they're actually some pretty good people, like the one from the first Home Alone. He just wanted to see his daughter again. So, yeah, probably something like that. Chapter 4 The Sleepover Party Begins. That's a giant wheel of activities here. Yeah, and you can see the wheel of activities. Oh, you got Excuse me. Got stuff on here. You got music, art. Um, I'm guessing reading, jewelry, um, pillow fight, uh, whisper secrets, the nails, doing hair, dress up, love, uh, little sneaky sleepy games. I'm assuming a free pick, hiding and seek, spin attack, and truth or dare. Well, y'all know truth or dare be played at a lot of different parties like this there, especially with the bottle. So then Norgana entered with a giant wheel of activities. Are you excuse me. Are you girls ready to party? She asked with excitement. Yeah, shouted the girls. Then, all right then, Zoe, will you do the honors of spinning the wheel first? And asked Norgana. Of course. This reminds me of that game show Spin of Destiny, said Zoe. She spun the wheel and it stopped on obstacle course. Oh, that must be what one of them was supposed to be, obstacle course. Hmm. Great choice, Zoe, said Bubblelina. Moments later, the girls went out to the back courtyard of the castle to the starting line to begin. Well, quite that's quite an interesting thing to have for a sleepover, obstacle course. Good. Wow, said Zoe. This backyard is bigger than our farm back in Bethany. Norgana entered and gave the signal for the girls to get set and start the race. The girls had to make it through many Halloween decorated obstacles. There were stacks of plastic pumpkins, skeletons, and orange and black painted frogs hopping around, a spider web maze, dolphins in ghost costumes. Ooh, interesting. Trying to block the girls. The octopus dressed as spiders, squirting slime everywhere. Playful slime, Nickelodeon slime, of course. The girls raced through each obstacle the best they could. Alicia lost first due to one of the frogs getting stuck in her hair. Little mischievous frog there. You got these are your obstacles right here. You got pumpkins, little playful skeletons and frogs. Oh yeah, the dolphins as ghosts and octopuses. Looks like Alicia didn't take too kindly to the frog prints in her hair. I guess the frog's not her type there. Holly ended up getting lost in the maze. Gina and Bubblelina ended up getting stopped by a couple of baby dolphins that decided to tickle them. Zoe and wait, Zoe and Crystal were close to making a tie, but Crystal stopped when she got slimed by the octopuses. And I did try to illustrate the spider webs, but when they in print they didn't really come out too well. There, one disadvantage about the colored pencils there. Then you got Bubblelina and Gina here with the baby dolphins. And Crystal got Nickelodeon slimed. Slimed. Next up, she'll be our contestant on Legends of the Hidden Temple. Might have to reference that some kind of way in a story. Despite the fact that Zoe was human and not a mermaid, she swam through the remainder of the course as if she was one of them. As Zoe approached the finish line, she imagined herself as a mermaid, placing her legs together and pretend like they were a beautiful mermaid tail. She even imagined herself wearing a gorgeous dress, being like a princess like Bubblelina. The fantasy made Zoe swim even faster, and in no time at all, she crossed the finish line. Congratulations, Zoe, said Norgana. You're a really good swimmer. Thanks, said Zoe. Riley and I had swimming lessons, and we did a lot of swimming with our mom in our pool back home. Sometimes Riley and I would sneak and swim in some of the river creeks in Bethany. Some of them were kind of muddy, but still awesome. Definitely, definitely a country girl at heart. Sounds pretty fun, said Norgana. The other girls approached, and Norgana said to them, "All right, girls, since Zoe won, she will do the honors of selecting who gets to spin the wheel again." Zoe thought for a moment. "Well, since Bubblelina let me get the first spin, I pick her." "Thanks, Zoe," said Bubblelina. Everyone went to the wheel, and Bubblelina spun it. Once it stopped, it landed on, looks like sleeping torture. Guess I guess that means you're it for. I guess that means you're it for sleeping torture," said Crystal, lightly tickling Bubblelina with a feather. Bubblelina giggled until Crystal stopped and said, "No way, Crystal! You had all the girls tickle me like crazy last time, and I'm very ticklish." Pretty much like Christina, she is very ticklish. Believe me. Sorry, sorry, Bubbles. It was funny. Besides, you wouldn't confess your crush on that merboy Christian. So like Chris in Christina's Bubblelina series is pictures Zoe finishing the race there, imagining herself as a mermaid there, and Bubblelina having daydreams of Christian there, and Crystal like or there's like mm-hmm. Now that attitude, you get hate to bring this as an example, but Cat in the Hat said the Mike Myers one said, "Honey, the dress was ruined when she bought it." Yeah. Like what? That just seemed really awkward coming from him, along with several other things in that movie. Really, I hope the Cat in the Hat movie coming out now does a lot better there. Yeah, it looks like it should do, especially being animated too. Yeah, that animation really helps more with the Seuss world than live action does. Only live action Seuss movie that actually was enjoyable was the Grinch. Like I said, yeah, there was some flaws with it, but it was the only one out of the live action movies that I actually don't mind watching, around Christmas time, along with the other Grinch movies, like the original cartoon and the recent one that we got with Arnold, with the guy that played Doctor Strange. So I pretty much got all the Grinch iteration movies. But yeah, Mike Myers Cat in the Hat, not so much. Yeah. The Lorax actually, Horton Hears a Who was done with, but they went back to animation, which also really helped the Lorax do good there. So yeah, that was pretty good. And yeah, like I say, hopefully Cat in the Hat does really good. It looks kind of crazy, but I think I'm pretty sure it'll be a lot better than what we got with Mike Myers, though. Yeah. So mhm. Bubblina blushed out of embarrassment. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it a secret. Then she said, "I wasn't for sure if I was gonna like him or not. It was complicated." "Does he have a brother?" asked Zoe. He does, but believe me, little Jacob isn't really the mature type, said Alicia. "Plus, he's like 2 years younger than us," said Gina. "And my cousin always says, never date younger men. They might seem cute and all, but they are not the same as a guy your age or older." "Well, that sounds true, but also depends on the guy," said Zoe. "I mean, sometimes guys can mature pretty well for their age." Whistle, whistle, whistle. That's a that's a pretty good that's a good point, said Holly. "And sometimes the guy might just be uncomfortable around certain girls." Ooh, said Crystal. Jacob and Holly sitting in a tree. Holly started blushing like crazy as Gina and Alicia joined in. Kissing. Okay, girls, that's enough, said Bubblelina. She paused, looked at Crystal with a sneaky grin, and continued. Since you brought up my secret to everyone, I pick you to be it for the torture. Ooh, ooh, said everybody. Girl, I gotta hand it to you, girl. You got a dark side to you, said Crystal. I dark side, you say? I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist throwing that in. Also, this is who they were talking about, Christian's little brother, and it seemed like Holly has a crush on him despite him being a couple of years younger. Sitting in the tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Mm. Yeah, so you got a dark side to you, girl. Well, it is because I hang around you all the time, said Bubblelina. Fair, fair enough. I do tend to cause an influence on the people I'm with, said Crystal. But for this, I declare a pillow fight immediately after this. Fair deal, everyone. Everyone agreed in unison. Hmm, very well. Went back inside the castle and into the living room. Crystal then took out a blanket and placed it on the floor and laid down to pretend she was asleep. Also, a lot of the stuff that's on that wheel, like the sleeping torture, and now I don't know about the obstacle course. I don't. I think that was something I just added in there at random because of the, because of the setting that they're at. Being at the castle in a big courtyard out there. But all the other stuff, I actually looked when I wrote this. I actually looked up activities at a girl's sleepover or summer party, however you call it. I actually looked up activities, and sleeping torture was on there. Never knew about that, but it was one of the things on there. And I even looked up like how the different activities were played and stuff, which probably could come in pretty handy, especially anywhere between now and the following year. Me and Christina ended up getting little Sabrina first. Nothing against David, but just like if we end up getting Sabrina first, yeah, we're gonna need to know a little something about when they become of age and like I want a sleepover or a summer party. So yeah, we gotta have a little knowledge of how like okay, let's all right, well let's do this right. Let's get this party decked out here. You know what I'm saying? Has to really have some fun here. You know me, I'm all for fun. Yeah. Beep, little party stream. and uh, and then they'll probably like, Dad, don't embarrass me. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. I can't exactly say whether I would or wouldn't, because man, ain't no telling what the lingo of the kids will be now completely. Yeah, it kind of varies there. And growing up as an oddball, even when I was a kid, growing up as the oddball, yeah, it might, yeah. To say there ain't no telling ain't no way telling what it be, but hopefully it'll still be good though. Yeah, hopefully things still work out. So how did all right? So Crystal laid down and pretended she was asleep. So how do I play this game? Asked Zoe. Bubblina explained in a whisper to Zoe. Well, once a person is declared lays down and pretends to be asleep, one of us has to set a timer for 1 minute. Then we all try to make her laugh and wake her with funny noises, songs, jokes, or phrases. If she manages to stay asleep without laughing or getting up for the allotted time, say, then she wins the game and chooses the next player to be it. So basically it's like the YouTube try not to laugh type of challenge there. The guy who I remember Jamaica Snuggie mentioned about this. I can't remember who they say started this or who they were trying to do like there, whether they started it or not. But they tried to not laugh at a SpongeBob episode. Let me repeat that. They tried not to laugh at a SpongeBob episode. Yeah, good luck with that. So so it was two of the guys. They say one was like, I'm gonna try not to laugh. You want to play with me? The other guy was like, it's SpongeBob. I'm gonna laugh. The other guy wasn't even gonna try it. He was like, look, I laugh. So the one who wasn't gonna laugh. So he started the episode. What band geeks? He said Squidward was playing the clarinet. And then the doorbell rang. Yes, we're at the local pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises. I lost so quick. Yeah, he lost. I tell you, you cannot play a don't laugh when you're watching SpongeBob. It ain't gonna work. So you have just about as luck trying not to laugh at SpongeBob as you do being a cast member in a Tyler Perry play. Oh, quit it, stupid nigga, quit it. Oh boy. Okay, let me get some water. Ooh. All right. Okay. I told y'all it's gonna be a pretty big live stream there going through this whole book there. This little special week though. Now I don't know what next week will bring, but yeah. But this week, yeah, I'm speaking 1 week at a time though. Anyway, so since it's since this is Halloween, we're gonna make scary sounds to wake her, whispered Alicia. Oh, I get it, whispered Zoe. You all really know how to party. Then Zoe got so excited she accidentally blurted out, I think I can scare her real good. The other girls meant it for Zoe to keep her voice down. Sorry. Crystal heard Zoe's last remark, which caused her to think of what the wise elder merman said. His voice played in her mind, saying, an innocent being of our and not of our likeness will come along with a great evil. If it isn't stopped, Atlantis could be doomed for destruction. Then Crystal remembered how Zoe talked about the neighbor called the Grouch King. Suddenly, she imagined Zoe invoking dark magic that would cause the Grouch King to arise and possibly destroy the castle. Just as the other girls started to begin the game, Crystal was shaking in fear. Oh boy. Oh, right west. Okay. She started shaking in fear. And that's what she was seeing in her mind. Ooh. Chapter 5. Girl Talk. Ooh, chat. Girl, did you hear about what Sally said to Lucy the other day? No, don't tell me that. No, I think Lucy might have a secret. You think so? What that secret be, girl? Oh, I gotta tell it to you. I think she like Maxwell. Ooh, something like that. Ooh, ain't I a stinker? Oh my goodness. Oh, I think I got. Oh, I think my humor. I got humor from my folks there when they be at the dinner table at the holidays. Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm right here in your house. So, any, anywho, before I go into that there, ooh, because that'd be a whole other live stream there. At that moment, the castle doorbell rang. I think I think that's the pizza girls, said Norgana. Chester. Then the palace butler, Chester, entered and said, "Yes, Miss Norgana. Would you be a dear and get the door?" "Right away, madam." "All right, Jeffrey from Fresh Prince." It's a very Chester was okay. Look like my okay. That was okay. Okay, my let me. I'm just checking the hotspot there. Okay. Dear God, keep me in the sunshine. I just want to finish up the book. Okay. All right. So anyway, um, all right. So this. Oh yeah, I was going to show you how Chester was also featured in my Star Striker series after this. And let's see, go to right here. Oh yeah, and he even got got the same design there. Yep, except he's human here, and in the other book he's a merman. So yeah, look, I've got two Chesters. All right. So okay, I'm obviously still in the stream because somebody did come in here. Been having somebody come in out probably like I say because I know if it's I'm assuming either Case or EJ because sometimes they'll be coming, but they'll be multitasking there. So a lot of times they have to kind of go in and out there. And I know EJ, I know definitely EJ do that sometimes. Probably I would say either one of them or it could be possibly another person doing the same thing. Maybe they're multitasking too. So yeah. All right. Girls, girls, follow me to the kitchen to get seated, said Norgana. We got some pizza so their pizza delivery is Shelley's in Atlantis, and also rice. After enjoying the pizza with a Rice Krispie cookie cake for dessert, I wish I could have had a Rice Krispie cookie cake. Mmm, that's a dessert there. The girls resumed their sleeping torture game. However, Crystal requested for Zoe to be it because she was still suspicious of Zoe and the prophecy. Then, during the pillow fight, Crystal and the other girls tried to hide their fear toward their suspicions, but Bubblelina could sense something was wrong. After the pillow fight, the girls did each other's hair and nails, and finally the girls went into Bubblelina's room to turn in for the night. "Chester," said Norgana. Chester entered and said, "Yes, Miss Norgana." "Would you be a dear and get the sleeping bags for the girls?" said Norgana. "Right away, madam." Mhm. "And while he gets that, I'm going to get the palace musicians to give you girls some soft music to help you fall asleep," said Norgana. On that note, she exited out with Chester. Well, they get personal musicians to play music for them to help them get to sleep. Oh boy, that's some service there. It's like coming to America. Well, girls, I guess I'll go get my teeth brushed real quick," said Zoe. Which way's the bathroom?" "Like, I'll show you," said Bubblelina. She led Zoe to the bathroom. When Bubblelina came back, she noticed the girls looking at each other nervously. She asked them, "Girls, it seems like you've been acting kind of strange, kind of odd since the pillow fight," said Bubblelina. Crystal laughed nervously and said, "Oh, it's nothing, Bubbles, right, girls?" Yeah, nothing at all," said the girl. Bubblelina looked at the girls with a serious, straight face. Uh-oh. Something going down to Bubblelina looking at you serious there. "Girls, we've been friends since daycare. I think I would know when something is really wrong." Now come on and tell me what is bugging you all? The girls looked at each other nervously, and with a sigh, Crystal said, "We're concerned about Zoe." Concerned about Zoe? Said Bubblelina. What do you mean? On our way over here, an elder told us of a prophecy that would occur soon, said Holly. He said an innocent being, not of our likeness, would come with a great evil, and if it isn't stopped, Atlantis will be doomed for destruction, said Alicia. You got the pizza and rice crispy cookie cake that from earlier. And they have to, and yeah, look like the other hard truth of what they're thinking coming clean to Bubblelina. Yeah. Since Zoe is an innocent human being, we figured she might be the person that the elder was talking about, said Gina. Girls, even if the prophecy is true, I seriously doubt Zoe would be able to cause destruction to Atlantis, said Bubblelina. At that moment, Zoe came out and noticed the girls talking, and she stood still and listened to them. Are you completely sure, Bubbles? Asked Holly. Yeah, I think there might be something about Zoe that even you don't know about. Like, after all, you just met her last week, said Gina. Like, yeah, she may look innocent, but there's definitely something not right about her, said Crystal. If I were you, I'd call the Dream League. I guess you girls might have a point, said Bubblelina. Sorry, Bubbles. It just has to be, said Holly. There was a moment of silence as Zoe went back in the bathroom and swam out the window and away from the castle in tears. Oh. After that, Bubblelina broke the silence by saying, Look, the palace security system will alert us if anything happens tonight. Then we'll look some more into this in the morning. Then Chester came back with the sleeping bags and said, Your sleeping bags for you and your friends, Princess, said Chester. Pink and red hearts for you, of course. Lavender with crystal diamonds for Miss Crystal. Light blue with sport designs for Miss Gina. Yellow orange with cheetah spots for Miss Alicia. And emerald green with smiley faces for Miss Harley. Yeah, personalized sleeping bag. Man, this is some great service here. I wasn't for sure what color to get Miss Zoe since it was the last minute. So I picked up this white one. Perhaps maybe you girls might have a design in mind of something she likes. Oh, okay. Have the girls design it. I have an idea, said Bubblelina. She made her trident appear and waved it across the sleeping bag, causing rainbow flowers to appear, and said, Perfect. Bubblelina went to get Zoe. Moments later, she came back to the room in a panic and shouted, Zoe disappeared! Everyone gasped. Chapter 6 An Unbelievable Truth. Zoe swam away from the castle as fast as she could, while still crying. However, swimming with such great force made her very tired, so she stopped to rest. While resting, she started thinking, which led her to a flashback of 2 years ago when Valerie first told her she was adopted. Valerie sat Riley and Zoe down on the couch, just back when they were 6, and said, I have something to tell you guys. It actually involves Zoe, but I think it's fair that both of you know this now. What is it? Asked Zoe. And it seemed like something similar to Melissa finding out about her being a mermaid in Christina's universe there. Mm. Valerie took out a small bronze yellow furry basket with matching colored eagle wings attached to it, handed it to Zoe, and said, The night before Riley was born, someone else left this on the front doorstep. I didn't know where it came from or who left it, but when I looked inside, I found the baby inside. Really? Asked Zoe. Just a second, guys. I got the sound now, but I'm signing in on on my phone here. Okay, that yeah, and the reason I answered, I want to make sure, kind of keep an eye on the stream there through my phone. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so yeah, now I can see that. All right. Anyway, uh, Riley touched the basket and said, "It feels like lion fur." Then he noticed some broken eggshells inside. Why are there eggshell pieces in here? He asked. Zoe looked closely at the pieces. That's odd. Humans don't come from eggs like chickens do. Actually, one did, said Valerie. Riley and Zoe gasped together. Said, That's impossible, they said at the same time. Valerie continued, saying, Before I found the baby inside, the egg was beginning to hatch. And when the hatching was complete, the baby was born. And that baby was, Valerie took a deep breath, you, Zoe. Zoe and Riley gasped together, saying, and then Zoe said, Mom, please tell me you're joking about the last part. I'm afraid not, said Valerie. Zoe almost collapsed to the floor in shock, but Riley caught her. Sis, are you okay? He asked, helping her back up. There was a moment of silence. Then Zoe stuttered nervously as she spoke. I don't understand. Even if me being adopted is true, how is it possible that I came out of an egg like some kind of bird or something? Suddenly, Zoe stopped stuttering and gasped loudly, said, Does this mean I'm not a real human? Zoe, Zoe got more frantic as she continued talking. Like, but what if I'm some unknown creature like in those scary movies? Zoe, said Riley. But Zoe kept ranting. Then, when I least expect it, I'll start mutating into something like a giant bird. Valerie and Riley tried harder to calm Zoe down, but she continued ranting and getting even more frantic, saying, And then I'll lose control and end up attacking the land. And she looked at her hands and arms and screamed, It's starting now! I'm starting to mutate! I have to get away from here! Just as Zoe started to take off, Valerie and Riley caught her and finally got her to calm down. And Valerie said, Zoe, wherever you're from and whatever you might be, Riley and I will always love you and be with you like a family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the. Indeed, said Riley. Even if you do turn out to be a giant bird, and even if you do turn out to be a giant bird, it might be kind of cool. Oh, is that even? Indeed, even if you do turn out to be a giant bird, which might be kind of cool. You still love me even if I'm not human? Asked Zoe. Yes, we will, said Valerie, and nothing will change that. What about other people? Asked Zoe. If I did change into another form, would other people treat me like you guys? I can't say everyone, said Valerie. So until that day comes, you must keep this information a secret in order to protect yourself from people who might try to harm you out of fear of you. However, if you show people how pleasant you are, they just might accept you for you, just as we do. You think so? Asked Zoe. I know so, said Valerie. And don't worry, sis. We'll make sure to keep your secret safe, said Riley. The flashback ended, and Zoe swam further into a dark, creepy area. Then she became more tired and fell asleep. While Zoe was sleeping, she began to dream. And in the dream, she was in a castle similar to Bubblelina's, except this one was in a cloud instead of under the ocean. Zoe walked inside. EJ sees it. Uh, Inside and looked around, but after a while, she realized no one was in the castle. Hello? She said. Then Zoe's still walking around slowly and checking out each room. Bubblelina, Crystal, Holly, Gina, Alicia, anyone here? Morgana, anybody? Zoe continued calling out, but no one ever showed up or answered her. What's up, EJ? Man, you yeah, we still here a little bit there. We're reading through this whole book here. Didn't have to work at Kroger, so I am hyped up. Oh man, oh you cool man. I know what you I know you I know you mentioned I think you mentioned not only to me, but I think you even mentioned it in Discord. You had you had your show got you a show Saturday. Yeah, you get I know you're probably getting ready for that there. So yeah, I, yeah, there's a EJ y'all EJ got that Eddie Murphy schedule going on. You know how Eddie Murphy be in a lot of movies. EJ gonna be he gonna be the next Eddie Murphy. Technically, I would say more the next Will Smith there. Yeah, or maybe both together. Eddie, they say Will Smith kind of picked up a few things from Eddie Murphy though. Hey, yep. Don't we all? Say, shoot, Eddie, man, all the stuff Eddie Murphy's been in. Ooh boy, that's some of my best movies. Got Eddie Murphy in it. My Nutty Professor, Doolittle, Coming to America. Wow, that's a. And then yeah, Will Smith. All them different action movies with Will Smith. Oh boy, that's a yeah. Them were some powerhouses in acting there. So yeah. Ooh. So yeah, EJ getting up with them big times. And one thing I want to mention while you're here, um, in our crew and everything, I kind of know. I'm just this from my observation. Now I don't know how things will get in the future. The more that we do this, but as of now, it seems like Case and Christina, they're kind of like they're our moral support, but very strong moral support. Um, I know you EJ, you got your strength is pretty much with the acting. You pretty much like, hey, I'm auditioning for that. I'm auditioning for this. I'm auditioning. So you got that's a major strength that you got there. It keeps you busy a lot, but it's a strength there. And in my case, not saying that I wouldn't be in anything production. I'm not saying that at all. But I noticed over time, like I do like acting, but I noticed I seem to have more of a strength with creating the stuff, like these books, for instance, and the play that's coming up, stuff like that. I seem to have more of a strength of creating and putting stuff together, and then like with content creating here on YouTube, stuff like that, which probably could evolve over time into bigger creations. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what at the moment that's what I'm noticing from all of us, our different strengths and stuff like that, and what we seem like we do more of there, especially me and you there. So yeah, so yeah, it's like I say, but that's the thing, you gotta when you notice those strengths, yeah, you definitely got to act upon them there. So yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, definitely make the best of it there. All right, and say. So no one ever answered. Moments later, she went back out to the castle and saying, I guess no one wants to be around me. After all, I'm not even a real human. At least if I was a mermaid, I'd be something good. But apparently, I might possibly be a threat to them. Poor Zoe's really depressed right now there, and well, this thing on the next page is not exactly a good time to show up there. Let's see what this thing is here that just popped up. Suddenly the cloud began to shake until a giant sea monster, covered in shadows, arose in front of Zoe. Zoe screamed and ran around side of the castle as the monster chased her. She cried out for help, but no one came to rescue her. Eventually, she ran off the edge of the cloud and started falling. Eventually, everything faded out, ending the dream, and she woke up screaming at the top of her lungs, emitting an extremely powerful vibrating sound that caused an earthquake around her. Boy, glad it's a good thing she woke up too, man. Oh boy, I mentioned once before about that. What could happen in your sleep there, and like you fall, like for example, you falling off of a cliff or something. Oh boy, say the sound waves eventually reached to a nearby shark, say named Kuza, sleeping under some statues of his master. Strange. Of his master, dreaming about barbecuing seagulls. Barbecuing seagulls. I guess apparently this shark Kuza must have the same appetite as Burger Beer from SpongeBob. You guys like some hot wings? Wait a minute, where's Kyle? Who's next? Ah, let's get out of here, y'all! You crazy, man! You crazy! And it turns out Kyle was using a porta potty the whole time that they didn't know. Yeah. The sound waves woke him up, causing him to hit his head on the arms of one of the statues and breaking it. Kuza swam quickly but quietly to where Zoe was. Once he found her, he hid in some nearby seaweeds and watched as the sea walks around Zoe broke into pieces because of her screaming. Eventually, Zoe stopped screaming and started crying. Oh boy, there's a major depression going on here. It just really got dark. Yeah, that's Kuza there. Remember him? He's also featured in Christina's Bubblelina universe there. Kuza! Her crying there. Oh boy. And poor Zoe there. Chapter 7, Serena and Kuza. So we got a version of Serena in here too, just like in the Bubblelina comics. Kuza! Well, Kuza, but you say it like Kuza! I sort of got that from the Proud family. Sugar Mama's sister, who was hopefully like a magician, was doing all this psychic powers and stuff. And she had an assistant, little guy, sort of moving like MC Hammer time. And he was like, "Yo, sister's like be late. We really late. Sugar! Who it? Oh wait, no, he said, Sugar! Who the heck is Sugar?" Sugar! Quickly ran away and toward a tunnel that sent him through a portal. As he went through the portal, he said, that's something you don't see every day. Soon, Koza was in the lair of the mermaid named Serena, his master's lair. However, Serena was not your average mermaid. She called herself a siren and was known to make all men traveling by sea be seduced by her singing, causing them to crash their ships, just like in the Odyssey. Once she entered her room, he saw her looking at herself in the mirror, posing in the red dress. Serena noticed Kuza coming in and asked him, Kuza, does this Kuza, does this dress make me look fat? You better tell me what I want to hear, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could probably, if you hadn't guessed that the voice that I imagined for Serena, and even in Christina's universe, is y'all remember from Fresh Prince of Bel Air, one of Aunt Vivian's sisters, Aunt Helen. I forgot. Well, yeah, because I got the live on here now, but remember Aunt Helen there, one that was married to Uncle Lester. Yeah, that's who I imagine as Serena here because of the sassy attitude there. Kosa noticed Serena was a little chubby, but decided not to admit it. Smart move. Instead, he said, not at all. You look like $1 million. Serena smiled and posed more in the mirror. I was a little worried that my diet wasn't working. You can't expect to lure those hunky fishermen in Utah without a slim, trim body. You know what I'm saying? Although, to be honest, nowadays, yeah, you don't exactly have to be slim to attract to it. Nowadays, I'm just saying, don't jump through the computer screen after me, ladies. You don't have to exactly be. Not all of y'all be slim. You know, as Papa Clump say, we need you know we no everybody is a supposed to be different. Big, small, medium, supposed to have all that. So hey, the you see how she got a little something on her, you know. Well, and they say a little chubbiness there, but trust me, I know some I know some fellas who don't care about that. They like, how you doing, baby? Say, ooh, well, you look nice. And don't get me started with Goofy in the Goofy movie. There's a real chubby lady in that dressing room, and Goofy accidentally opened the door to her room. She screamed, and Goofy's reaction, oh, like, okay, okay, Goofy. Goofy, like say, it don't matter to him. Say, I ain't Goofy ain't picky at all. That's my boy there, Goofy. All right, I hear you, Goofy. maybe maybe you could try over in Philadelphia just to mix it up a little bit. Say, Cola. I feel it, of course. I see what you're trying to. I see what you're getting at there, Koza. Well, I suppose, said Serena. She thought for a moment, snickered, and said, huh, I could really attract that rapper Rick Green. I heard that he might make it big in the movies when if he succeeds in that sitcom he's gonna do the super hippest star of LA. Well, that will be like a nod to the Fresh Prince. She paused a while, daydreaming of her and Rick. Eventually, Kuza said, anyway, there's something I really think you should do. What? This dress really does make me look fat? Asked Serena. Yes. No, that's not what it is. That's something else. Please don't kill me. Well, oh boy, this book is too good. Well, out with it already, said Serena. A human girl is near our lair, said Koza. But there's something very odd about her. Well, the fact that a human is down here in the first place isn't odd enough. She seems to have a special power. Like what? When she yells, the rocks and the ground around her breaks, which means she could be something else. She must be a sky Atlantean. Kuza jumped and shot. That's impossible! You see them away 8 years ago! Apparently, one of them must have escaped. Serena swam into her spell room and pulled out her cauldron. Before she started placing her ingredients in, she began to look inside and noticed green kelp juice and bits of lobster and shrimp tails. Serena turned to glare at Kuza and said, how many times have I told you not to boil you and your friends' dinner in my cauldron? I guess that messes up the spells. Oh boy. Who's that? Said Koza. He whispered to himself, I meant for that to be cleaned out. I meant to clean that up this morning. Serena shoved the cauldron at Koza. Hurry up and clean it out now. Right away. I want it. He raced off to clean it. A few minutes later, he was back with the cauldron clean as a whistle. Hold on. Then Serena began mixing her ingredients in the cauldron. An image of the outside area near the layer where Zoe was sitting appeared, and Serena peered into Zoe's mind, which revealed images that gave her an idea for an evil plot. And yeah, you do not cook lobster and shrimp with kelp juice in a pot that's used for magic spells. It just don't mix. Yeah. Now if you were cooking some buffalo wings or some gumbo, that might be a different story. I think, now that moment just turned into Reggie from the Hey Professor. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, what's cooking in that spell cauldron today? Perhaps maybe some of that seafood gumbo. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chapter 8, A Dark Awakening. Bubblelina, Norgana, Crystal, Holly, Gina, Alicia, and the entire castle staff searched all over for Zoe but couldn't find any sight of her. If you hadn't been all talking about Zoe and being part of that prophecy, none of this would have happened, exclaimed Bubblelina angrily. She probably ran away because she overheard you all discussing it. We're sorry, Bubbles, said Crystal. We were just worried about this whole thing in general, said Gina. Bubblelina took a breath. No, no, I'm sorry, girls. Look, I know you all meant well, but I'm just concerned about Zoe. Even though I only knew her for a week, I still do not think she could be a threat to us. Even if that, well, even if that is true, whatever this threat is that the prophecy states could be using her without even her knowing, said Alicia. Yeah, like mind control or trickery, said Holly. We gotta be prepared for anything, said Crystal. Well, let's find her. Perhaps we can put a stop to this threat together, said Bubblelina. It's worth a shot, said Holly. So where do we look next? Asked Gina. I have an idea, said Bubblelina, taking out her iPhone and her Hero Watch. Targeting Hero installed a tracking system in the Hero Watch is similar to the FBI and also the BTB agency. I can hook it up to my iPhone to track Zoe's location through her iPhone. Hmm, okay. Communicator and the current technology. That's a good idea, but you might want to use my iPhone, said Holly, handing it to Bubblina. She might be really upset and not answer if she sees your number. Thanks, Holly, said Bubblina, hooking up Holly's iPhone to her Hero Watch. She dialed Zoe's number. I think this kind of when the iPhones kind of first was starting to come out around this time there, because I know at some point I did get mine around this time, my first iPhone, both me and Christina. Still sitting still sitting in the outside area near Serena's lair, Zoe had just stopped crying and she answered the phone. Hello, she said nervously. Oh, Zoe, thank God you're okay, said Bubblina. She motioned for the other girls to follow her location. Is that you, Bubblina? Asked Zoe. Yes, it is, said Bubblina. Listen, Zoe, the girls and I are going to find you, but you gotta stay on the phone for us to trace your location. Zoe sighed and said, Don't bother with it. Zoe, wait! Exclaimed Bubblina. And there's the tracking system to the iPhone there. And of course, y'all remember how some of the settings in the iPhone used to look. And also apparently the phone number. Yep. And this whole thing is hand drawn too there. Yep. And of course, say Zoe's still a little still sad there. Yep. And then And then, of course, this happens here. Oh boy. In call. Zoe hung up, causing the signal to drop. Then she thought to herself, all this time I tried to forget the fact of how I was really born. I wanted to believe it was all a dream. The night mom told me, but it looks like it wasn't. Suddenly, a dark mist started to surround Zoe, and she heard a voice calling to her. Zoe, it said. Who's there? Asked Zoe. Zoe, said the voice again. Zoe looked around and saw two shadow like figures, a man and a woman. The man spoke. That the time has the time has come for you to take on your true form. My true form? What is my true form? Said Zoe. We will show you, said the woman. However, when it's revealed, you must accept your destiny and take back what was taken from you. After a while of explaining to Zoe, the shadowy figures went inside her mind, causing a dark aura to appear around her, and an evil laugh echoed in the background. Zoe's eyes glowed red. Oh dear. That's not good. And ironic, I just finished watching some episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX about the whole Destiny thing in season 2 with Zartorius. It's destiny. You will see the light. Chapter 9, the war starts again. Bubblelina tried to contact Zoe, but it didn't do any good. I got an idea, said Crystal. Let's find the Elder and ask for more information on this prophecy. Yeah, said Gina. It might help us to find Zoe. That's a great idea, said Bubblelina. There's one problem with that, said Alicia. The Elder told us to find out on our own, said Holly. Well, girls, that leaves only one option, said Bubblelina. And that is to contact Eero and ask him to use the tracking system in the Hero Tree's main computer. On that note, Bubblelina tried to contact Eero on her Hero Watch. Eero, come in, she said, but there was static with no answer. Bubblelina looked in shock and exclaimed, I can't connect to the Hero Tree. What happened to the communication function? Suddenly, the girls noticed an army of Shadoos and Lamusses flying by. Sky Atlanteans! But they disappeared 8 years ago, said Holly. Maybe they can help us, said Bubblelina, going up to the Sky Atlanteans. Excuse me. Suddenly, the girls noticed a dark figure charging at Bubblelina from behind. Gina swam quickly to Bubblelina's aid and used her super strength to punch the figure away. However, the figure recovered and struck Gina with her lance, which knocked her out cold. Bubblelina noticed what happened. Gina, are you okay? The other Sky Atlanteans turned to attack Gina and Bubblelina. I don't know what's going on, but we got to help them, said Crystal. Crystal, Holly, and Alicia swam to Bubblelina and to aid Bubblelina and Gina. Like Gina, they also had special abilities. So Gina got super strength. Crystal could make her fist become like the exterior of any item she touched at will, sort of like the pink SPD Ranger Sid in Power Rangers SPD. Fist of Iron! Alicia could change the surrounding temperature and emit sonic waves of that temperature from her hands, sort of similar to something that Christina will be coming up with in the future. Holly had the ability to fire aurora beams from her hand, like Norgana. The three girls fought decently against the Atlanteans, but with them being outnumbered, the Sky Atlanteans started to overpower them. This race of Atlanteans had abilities such as emitting powerful, vibrant sound waves like Zoe did earlier, causing strong winds at will by flapping their wings, and all the senses and ability of both a lion and an eagle. Bubblelina had seen enough and decided to end this fight. Hero Watch! She exclaimed. Heroic transformation! Then Bubblelina went through her transformation from her pajamas to her costume. but she kept her mermaid form. Strong but gentle, Bubblelina. On that note, she swam swiftly over to the battle and fired a bubble between the other girls and the Sky Atlanteans to stop them. Then she came down and said, "Everyone, this has got to stop. The Atlanteans of the sky and the ocean are supposed to be allies and friends with each other. We all share the same goal, which is to protect the innocent of our kind and others like in the surface world. Your king and my dad ended this war years ago." "I don't think so, traitor," said a voice. Everyone looked up and saw a dark figure that attacked Bubblelina earlier. She was a Lamus, but she was different than the other Sky Atlanteans. She had a dark essence around her which reflected on certain parts of her appearance. "Who are you?" asked Bubblelina. We're about to find "Darkina, the princess of the Sky Atlanteans," she replied. "That can't be," said Bubblelina. Dun 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 dun, as they say when to be continued, like in Spider-Man. Dun 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 dun. Ding, and you end with the theme song. Doo, doo, doo. So, boy, that's quite a cliffhanger ending there if I ever saw one there. Oh dear. And yep, and like I say, Bible reading Wednesday, and it will be continued Thursday night in this book, number 9, which will be part 9. But let me share a little, before we end this video, I got to share a little something about that since Darkina has just been revealed. Okay, so remember I mentioned about the Shadows and the Mosses. Originally, when I was going with the Harpy idea, before I even wrote the first Heroes of Dream book, there was going to be, just like what you see here, like the war between the sky and ocean Atlanteans, there was going to be something like that with the mer people and the harpies there. And yeah, pretty much like a big battle between armies of mer folks and harpies and stuff like that. And the princess of the harpies was called Darkina. And yeah, there was a big clash there. Dream League was kind of caught in the crossfire of the other Dream League members. And the thing, how that idea came up in the first place of the whole harpy thing, not just the Odyssey, but there was at that time. Now I'm not sure completely if this was the real one. I highly doubt it was, but part of me thought that this was the real one. I was actually talking to Miley Cyrus, who I thought was Miley Cyrus. Like I say, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe, and I know some people do pretend to be celebrities there. And looking back on it, I don't really, because I mean, a lot of us do have an active imagination. Now, some cases, yeah, people do pretend to be other celebrities to actually trick you, like they probably get something out of you or something like that. But then there are some cases, like some people like that. But then you got some people like, just say if it was me, for example, that might be just trying to have some fun. Like they're not really trying to hurt nobody. But like just say if I went online and say, "Hey everyone, I'm Son Goku from DBZ," so just maybe like trying to have fun, like role play or something like that, or "Hey everyone, I'm Neo today." Um, so yeah, it could have been something like that. But anyway, I thought I was talking to Miley Cyrus, and around that time, there was an album she released called "Can't Be Tamed." Anybody know that album? And on the cover of the album, there's her in sort of dark goth-like clothing, and the song. There's a music video to the song "Can't Be Tamed," and it's actually not a bad album. It's real mature and kind of adultish, like I would say more teenagers or probably teenager slash adult, but it's actually not that bad there. Like I say, it's definitely now it's not something you would play on the Disney Channel, but like I say, the message in some of the songs on the album is, actually I'm like, okay, yeah, I can dig this. Being your own person, just in a more kind of, I guess you could say, darker style. but being your own person, don't let the system control you and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm digging this. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Miley. Um, but the song can't, like Liberty Walk was one of the songs, but the song Can't Be Tamed. Start the music video to that song started off where Miley actually has these dark wings, sort of like raven wings there, and everybody's looking at her like like an exhibit or something like that. And then it breaks into the song. I guess she breaks free out of the cage and stuff, and then they perform the song. So yeah, like it's like, don't change me, don't change me. I can't be tamed. I've got it. Yada 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 yada. So that's what made me think of the dark harpy idea. And originally, Dark Kina, the dark harpy, was originally meant to be a girl named Shanice when she was in human form. Darkina was her harpy form, but Shanice was the name of her in human form. And that's that. Now you see where the name Shanice first was used. Now we got the character Shanice in the Yumiko series, but she's not a harpy though, at least not yet. Who knows what I might come up with? But anyway, but in this one, yeah, she was Shanice Harper, and the thing was, she was post her thing in human form. She sort of befriended the Dream League members, especially Brian, and sort of got close to him, even kind of having a relation with him, like boyfriend girlfriend. And then when the whole fight between the Harpies and the mermaids and the merfolk started, then it was like, oh man, she betrayed us there. Sort of, and that was sort of inspired from, remember the Justice League, um, the betrayal of Hawkgirl when she betrayed the Justice League. They're sort of inspired from that. And then later in this darker Dream Heroes of Dream series that never got published, um, the war, they would end the war and stuff, and then Darkina would become a part of the Dream League, but it was sort of like Vegeta joining up with Goku and the others. Like, she still sort of got that bad girl in her, and in this case, and then in some cases, there was that, it took a while for some of the Dream League to trust her, like Brian and also Bubblelina to trust her and stuff like that because of what she had put them through previously, and she now like, okay, now we got to try to you got to earn the trust back and stuff like that. So, and also what Hawkgirl went through in Justice League Unlimited there. So yeah, that was kind of that's kind of what it was gonna be like in the darker Heroes of Dreams. And like I say, I would have brought that over into what we have here published, but like I say, um, what I started thinking more of it than I did back then. It was like, wait, what's the male harpy called? And I never could find it. So eventually, I just dropped the harpy ideal and just went with the shadoos and the musses. So that's how we got what we have here, and also the story still kind of dark, yeah, like you just saw, and of course, on Thursday when we read book 9, we will get a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. So at least there's that to look forward to in book number 9 to complete that. At least the story that just started. So yeah, that's what it was going to be. That's what it would have been, and this is what we end up getting. You know, neither, still good, still good. Yep. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share about that. Um, so anyway, been up here is almost 2 hours now. Yeah, like I say, like I hyped up. Want like, hey, I want to read this whole book. I'm gonna do the same thing for book 9. So yeah, definitely be prepared. Make sure y'all better have some popcorn. Yeah, especially for this length of time. So yeah. Um. Anyway, I'm gonna close it out there. Make sure y'all definitely like, share, subscribe. Definitely get our available books, and also definitely support us on that Patreon, just like your boy Iceman Universe, and see his give him some support too. You see full-length reactions to videos like his reaction videos like Hey Arnold and Ed Nettie, Naruto, One Piece, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. And also support the Miracle Crew, Queen Tina, Big Sis Casey, and of course, EJ the Supreme. Oh yeah. And just like you hang out with us on the live stream, be sure to hang out with us on Discord and on Facebook. And let's tell each other some stuff on that Makara app. And what's one other thing I want to say? Yeah, on the Makara app and everything. And like I say, um, we will definitely see. Oh yeah, that's right. And also on Patreon, yeah, I do. I'm dropping some videos as of now this week, starting Wednesday. One will come Wednesday, one will come Thursday, Friday, and also Saturday. Food reviews, and also another video. A lot of these we got over the weekend, so especially recorded on my phone, except for one. But so I'm dropping them for the rest of this. I'll be dropping them the rest of this week at different times. Be on the lookout for those. And while those videos are dropping, I will be also bringing up some new content for later. So when that new content starts coming up on Patreon, yeah, you want to get early viewing of even more content as it starts to come up. Y'all best be supporting us on that Patreon so you can see that, so you can see it early. Yep. So until then, we will see y'all in the next video. Y'all take care, everybody. Peace out. I can't be tamed. I can't be tamed.